Well, a very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to the live class. I will be dealing with Mother's Day. Hereby, I am about to share the screen with all of you. And please confirm me whether the screen is visible or not. Yes, dear students, is the screen visible to all of you? I hope you all can see it. So,
Yes, sir.
okay, so,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you everyone for your generous feedback. Now let me move on. Now from page number 47, I am about to recapitulate few important lines so that because we are doing it after 1 week later, so let us recapitulate some of the lines. It will be helpful. See now, Mrs. Fitzgerald, obviously we know it is Mrs. Pearson. Now when she entered, she found that the entire house is very quiet. She could realize it that something wrong had happened. Okay, and what was that something wrong that happened? Quarrel happened. Okay, 6s and 7s. Remember, Mr. George Pearson told her 6s and 7s. That means a state of confusion and disorder. Now, when she entered her own home, she found that something is wrong. Okay, everyone is very quiet. Okay, and it seems that something is wrong somewhere. So out of curiosity, she asked, "What's happening?" Now Mrs. Pearson, nothing much, just putting them in their places, that's all. Doing what you ought to have done long since. Okay, now I'm just putting them in their places. That means I'm just trying to make them proper and decent. I'm trying to counsel them. I'm trying to make them disciplined. Okay, you could have done this earlier. If you could have done this earlier, today I did not have to perform the magic. If you would have done it earlier, since you haven't, so that is the reason I am putting them in their right places. Now, look at the dialogue. Mrs. Fitzgerald, is George home? Mrs. Pearson, yes. I have been telling him what they think of him at the club. Yes, he is home. And I told him everything. What is the other people's opinion about him? What his friends think of him? How the bartenders behave with him? I told him everything. Now, Mrs. Fitzgerald, we know it is Mrs. Pearson. Well, they think a lot of him, don't they? Mrs. Pearson, no, they don't. And now he knows it. No, they don't. And what is the exact truth? He knows it. Naturally, George Pearson was not very much eager to disclose this side of her life of his life to his wife. But unfortunately, it was Cyril who was being pressurized, and Cyril told everything that behind his back, everyone in the party, in that meeting, everyone used to call him Pompey Pearson. And it was such an embarrassing moment for George that George was totally upset. And that was the reason he also left the room where he was having a conversation. Later, Doris and George will be coming back to the same room. We will come to that right now. See now, oh dear, I wish you hadn't. Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now, obviously, Mrs. Pearson, as we know, she is inside the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald. She told Mrs. Fitzgerald that you should not have told that. That really disappointed my husband. Mrs. Pearson, we know it is Mrs. Fitzgerald. Nonsense. Doing them all a world of good. Please underline. Very, very important. Remember, though in term 1 you will be getting MCQ type questions, but in term 2 you have to write down. You have to write objective and subjective questions. So every line is very important. You have to describe everything properly. Okay, every line you have to understand. This is a very important line. Okay, related with reference to the context. See this, doing them all a world of good, and they will be eating out of your hands soon. You will see. Okay, they will be eating out of your hands soon. You will see. doing them all a world of good. Now, Mrs. Fitzgerald, I don't think I want them eating out of my hand. Mrs. Fitzgerald is actually Mrs. Pearson, as you know. Now she is saying that no, I don't want them to blindly follow me every time, to be obedient every time. I don't want them to be like that. I just want them to talk with me nicely, interact with me nicely. I just want them to at least smile by looking at me. I just want them to spend some time with me and be at home. That is what I need, nothing more. I don't want them to be totally obedient towards me. Now Mrs. Pearson, she is getting very impatient. She is saying, well, whatever you want, please underline. Well, whatever you want, please highlight it, important. Well, whatever you want, they will be doing it. All three of them. Mark my words, Mrs. Pearson. This is something very, very important. They will be doing it means whether you like it or not, whether you believe me right now or not, but the way I had counseled them and the way I will be counseling them a bit later, they all will be very obedient towards you. Okay, mark my words. Now, when this was being told, all of a sudden George enters once again. And remember, I will be skipping a few lines here. Now just let me say you what exactly the scene is. Let me just describe the scene to all of you in brief. That George enters and he lighted his smoking pipe. He was very disappointed. Obviously he felt embarrassed, and without wishing the neighbor, the next door neighbor, without saying her good evening or how do you do, on the armchair he sat and he lighted his smoking pipe, which shows that George was really very, very disappointed. Okay, and whatever had happened, he never thought about it. Okay, but it did happen. See, George just looked in for a minute, I suppose, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now George never expected that during this time when already there was a quarrel in the house, George haven't expected that during this time someone from the neighborhood will come. And obviously George knew it very well that Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald, they are the best of friends. But even at this time, George never wanted anyone to be in the house. Okay, that is the reason he told that I suppose you came here to drop in for a moment, I guess. Mrs. Fitzgerald, now obviously he haven't interacted in this way with she haven't interacted with George in this way, so she doesn't know what to say. Now what she said is this: well, yes, I suppose so, George. Yes, I suppose so, George. Now see, she referred to George as George. That actually made George more angry. Okay, George is saying aghast. George, Mrs. Fitzgerald nervously, oh, I am sorry, I should not have called you George. Now Mrs. Pearson impatiently, what does it matter? Your name is George, isn't it? Please underline, everyone, dear students. I hope the highlighted portion is very much clear to all of you. See now what Mrs. Pearson is saying, that what does it matter? Your name is George. Don't behave as if you are the King George, or don't behave as if you are Duke of Edinburgh. Don't behave like that. Your name is George. So what wrong she did? She called you by your name. Is that a crime? Now this was being told by Mrs. Fitzgerald inside the body of Mrs. Pearson, that you all know. But the way it was being told, it was very rough and very rude. And George was much more upset. See, what's he got to do with it? Just tell me that. And isn't it bad enough without her calling me George? No tea, Pompey Pearson, and poor Doris has been crying her eyes out upstairs. Yes, crying her eyes out. Now obviously George, till now George was talking in a very polite manner. But for the very first time, we find that George is uttering some angry dialogues. Okay, see here what it's written. What's he got to do with it? Just tell me that. And isn't it bad enough without her calling me George? Okay, George is saying that she is calling me George, and isn't it not good? Why she will call me George? Okay, then apart from that, the moment George entered, till that moment, from that moment till now, whatever he saw, he is narrating it. See, no tea, Pompey Pearson, and poor Doris has been crying her eyes out upstairs. Yes, crying her eyes out, and poor Doris, she was crying, okay, all along, and she is now upstairs. So George told everything in detail. Even he told that in the club they call him Pompey Pearson. Even that part also got disclosed. Okay, now you see, I am moving on. Mrs. Fitzgerald, we actually, you know, it is Mrs. Pearson. The wailing, actually wailing means crying, and the root word is wail. Oh dear, I ought to have known, I should have known about it. Okay, now George staring at her annoyed, because see, George is getting surprised, because I hope you can also feel like why George is getting surprised, because George found in her a soft corner for each one of the family members. But George saw his own wife behaving in a rough and rude manner, but the neighborhood lady by the name of Mrs. Fitzgerald, she is behaving in a very kind-hearted manner, in a very generous way. See, you ought to have known. Why ought you to have known? Nothing to do with you, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Look, we are at 6s and 7s here just now, so perhaps you will excuse us. Okay, now this is something very important. 6s and 7s means a state of chaos and disorder. So George is saying that you can come some other time, Mrs. Fitzgerald. As you can see, there is quarrel in the house. We already had a quarrel in the house, and there might be some more quarrel in the house. So we are at 6s and 7s. That means we are in a state of chaos and disorder. So it would be better if you come some other time. So perhaps, Mrs. Fitzgerald, it would be nice if you excuse us. Okay, now see, Mrs. Pearson, before Mrs. Fitzgerald can reply, Mrs. Fitzgerald was actually Mrs. Pearson, as you know. She was about to reply. But before she was about to reply, it was Mrs. Pearson who told a very important dialogue. And see, here it is written, I won't excuse you, George Pearson. Next time, please underline. Okay, I am highlighting it, and I hope that you all can see it. Next time a friend and neighbor comes to see me, just say something when you see her, either good evening or how do you do or something, and don't just march in and sit down without a word. It's bad manners. Now this is something very, very important. Mrs. Pearson again openly insulted George. We know it is Mrs. Fitzgerald, again inside the body of Mrs. Pearson, and she openly insulted George by saying that next time, whenever you will find that any one of my friend or neighbor visited the house, kindly, before sitting in front of her or anyone else, please wish everyone good evening or how do you do, because all these things are etiquette. Now otherwise it can be considered as bad manners. Now this thing it's like an insult, you can say out and out an insult, and this is something George, it was very difficult for him to guess about it, and it was very difficult to actually endure it. So that is the reason George will be now very, very furious. Okay, now but see Mrs. Fitzgerald, what she is saying, no, it's all right, let him be like this. Okay, but see Mrs. Fitzgerald, because Mrs. Fitzgerald is inside Mrs. Fitzgerald, it is Mrs. Pearson. So obviously her way of talking and her way of behaving will be exactly like that of Mrs. Pearson, isn't it? But Mrs. Fitzgerald is inside the body of Mrs. Pearson. Obviously, Mrs. Pearson will enact, Mrs. Pearson will behave just like Mrs. Fitzgerald. See, here it is written, no, it isn't all right. We will have some decent manners in this house, or I will know the reason why. No, we want some decent manners in the house, or I want to know the reason why. Now, George is getting intimidated. Well, what? Now, and out of anger, he told that, well, what you want to do? Why don't you get off to your club? Special night tonight, isn't it? Now, see, pinching words we say, or taunting. Here, actually, Mrs. Pearson is taunting George. Okay, saying that, what are you doing here? You should be at the club. You have a special snooker match tonight. Why are you waiting here? Okay, they will be waiting for you, wanting to have a good laugh. Go on then, don't disappoint them. Now, this is something very, very important. Okay, that why are you waiting here when we both are talking among ourselves? You should be at the club. You only told that you have a special night tonight. Okay, so don't disappoint them. Please go. Now, George thought that this is too much of an insult. Previously also she was insulting, now also she had insulted, and obviously all these things are happening in front of Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now, George can't take it anymore, and that is the reason George is, literally speaking, George is very, very upset. Okay, now see, up to this, is there any doubt at the back of your mind? Any questions you can ask me? Is there any questions at the back of your mind?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So let us move on then. Okay, fine. That's good. So let us move. See this line. That's right. Make me look silly in front of her now. Now George is terribly upset, saying that obviously now not only you have insulted and humiliated me, even the way you had conversed with me, the way you had behaved with me, I look myself to be very, very silly, very, very silly. And again, George is repeating the same thing, 6s and 7s. Okay, that means a state of confusion and disorder. Poor Dory's been crying her eyes out. Okay, getting the neighbors in to see the fun. Now this is something very important. Now this is something that will make Mrs. Pearson, that is actually Mrs. Fitzgerald, furious with anger. Now George is saying, nice, absolutely nice, humiliating me, insulting me, now calling out the neighbors and obviously humiliating and insulting in front of their very eyes, and obviously giving them an opportunity to see the fun. Now obviously after saying it, George is already, I told you all that he is getting angry. Now he became furious, and all of a sudden he lost his temper, and he went on shouting at Mrs. Pearson. Okay, let her hear it. What's the matter with you? Yes, let her hear it. Okay, let the neighbor hear it. What's the matter with you? Why you are behaving like this way? You are not behaving like this way in the morning when I went out of the house, but when I returned in the late afternoon or in the early part of the evening, from that time onwards, I can see that there is some change in you. So what exactly happened with you, that why you are behaving in such a manner? I am skipping some lines. Mrs. Pearson, if you shout at me again like that, George Pearson, I will slap your big fat silly face. Now this is too much in front of a neighborhood lady who supposedly was a friend of Mrs. Pearson. Okay, now we know it very well that it is actually not Mrs. Pearson, it is actually Mrs. Fitzgerald inside the body of Mrs. Pearson. Now what she is saying, that if you shout at me again like that, George Pearson, I will slap your big fat silly face. Okay, I will be slapping your big fat silly face if you go on shouting like this, screaming like this. Okay, now Mrs. Fitzgerald, again to the surprise of George, okay, what she is saying, see, no, please, and out of excitement she told Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now George is surprised that why you are uttering your own name. and this is a personal matter, and why you are getting so much deeply involved in this? Okay, see, either I am off my chump or you are. How do you mean? No, please, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Look, you are Mrs. Fitzgerald, so why are you telling yourself to stop? When you are not doing anything, tell her to stop. Then there would be some sense in it. Okay, George is saying that why you are uttering your name? Okay, you yourself is Mrs. Fitzgerald, and when you are speaking your dialogue, when you are communicating, you are uttering your own name. You should utter the name of Mrs. Pearson. Why you should tell yourself to stop? Because ultimately you are not doing anything. It is my wife, Mrs. Pearson, who is doing all this. So instead of uttering your name, you should utter her name. Okay, so obviously that part George has rightly recognized. Okay, and this was being told by Mrs. Pearson out of excitement because situation was getting out of control. Okay, see, now I am now moving a bit down. Okay, now see, Doris about to enter, but before that you see there is a line, tell her to stop. Then there would be some sense in it. Say her to stop. I think you must be Tiddly. Okay, now Mrs. Pearson, after listening to that means when someone is totally drunk, okay, someone behaves in a very erratic manner. I hope you know the meaning of bizarre and erratic. Here we can say what George is trying to say to his wife, that yes, my dear wife, you are behaving in a very erratic and bizarre manner. Okay, this is not expected from you because you are very calm and quiet. Mrs. Pearson, say that again. Again, she is getting very, very furious, livid with anger, very much eager to hit George Pearson. George, intimidated. All right. Okay, fine, I won't be saying anything. All right. Now when this thing is going on, as I was saying a bit earlier, that Doris, she enters left. Okay, these are the stage direction. As I told you, she was looking very miserable. She is still wearing the wrap. Mrs. Pearson sits on the cushion, as you know. Now as you know it very well that neither Doris nor Cyril, they haven't been taught the right moral values. They don't know how to behave with elders, and we find the same thing in case of Cyril also. We find the same thing in case of Doris also. Okay, they don't behave properly with elders. Okay, they don't have right manners. They haven't been taught good manners. Okay, see here, Mrs. Fitzgerald, hello Doris dear. Doris, hello Mrs. Fitzgerald. Mrs. Fitzgerald, I thought you were going out with Charles Spencer tonight. Okay, now Mrs. Fitzgerald told Doris that what about your date today, as you were saying that you will be going out with Charles Spencer tonight. So what about it? Doris, what's that to do with you? Ma'am, it's my personal thing. Why you are so much bothered about it? Now Doris replied it in a very rough and rude manner. As I told you, that she haven't learnt any good manners. She could have told very politely also. Now Mrs. Pearson, as we know it is Mrs. Fitzgerald, told her, stop that. You should not behave like this. But see, Mrs. Fitzgerald is saying, no, it's all right. This shows that her nature and the nature of Mrs. Pearson is not Mrs. Fitzgerald is not the same. She can't bear it for a greater part of time that her family members are getting insulted in front of her. She can't take it she can't take it for long, and that was the reason she decided to stop. She decided to intervene in between. Okay, but see, look what Mrs. Pearson is saying. Actually, it is Mrs. Fitzgerald. It isn't all right. Please underline it. Very, very important. I won't have a daughter of mine talking to anybody like that. Now answer Mrs. Fitzgerald properly, Doris, or go upstairs again. Okay, now answer properly, or it's better you go upstairs once again. Now see, this is like an ultimatum that was been given by Mrs. Pearson to her daughter, that either you apologize to my friend who is of my age, that means who is like your mother only, apologize to her, talk with her politely. If it is not possible for you to do it, then it is better you go out of my sight and you go upstairs. Remember, Doris was also, Doris was surprised at this, but now obviously this is not the first time in the evening that she was being scolded. Previously also, on few occasions she was been badly scolded, and that was the reason she was crying a bit. Now at this time Doris was there with his father. Her father was also there. She looked at her father, but her father told nothing. Okay, and obviously the expression that her father gave was that I had surrendered, it is better, whatever she is saying, you follow it. See, it is written, don't look at me, I give it up, I just give it up. Please underline, George is saying that please don't look at me, I give it up, I can't say anything. Well, answer her. Now see, Doris had to answer politely. Now this time Doris is answering politely. I was going out with Charles Spencer tonight, but now I have called it off. Now the same thing been uttered, but it was uttered in a very polite manner. Though Doris was not happy from inside to be involved into all this, okay, but decided to postpone her date with her boyfriend Charles Spencer. Okay, now you see, Mrs. Fitzgerald, oh what a pity dear, why have you, you have postponed today. Now it's really sad to hear it, but why have you postponed it? Now see, Doris with a flash of temper, because, please underline again a very important line, because if you must know, my mother's been going on at me, making me feel miserable, and saying he has got buck teeth and is half-witted. Obviously because my mother made me feel miserable, even criticized me, humiliated me, insulted me, criticized, humiliated and insulted indirectly my boyfriend also, and referred to my boyfriend as buck teeth and half-witted. No, this is something I can't endure it. This is something that is something very sad, really very sad, very disappointing. So see now, Mrs. Fitzgerald, oh you shouldn't have said that. Now why have you told that to my daughter? You shouldn't have told that. Now Mrs. Pearson, Mrs. Fitzgerald, I will manage my family, you manage yours. Obviously we know it is Mrs. Pearson inside the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald. She is saying that you shouldn't have told my daughter regarding all this. Okay, now we know it is Mrs. Fitzgerald inside Mrs. Pearson. She is saying that I will manage my family, you manage yours. Okay, you don't have to worry about it. Let me manage my own family. Now George at this time started interacting with Mrs. Pearson by saying that, taking her off now, are you Annie? Really, are you my wife? Are you Annie? Now Mrs. Pearson again, she will go on pinching George. They are waiting for you at the club, George, don't forget, and don't you start crying again, Doris. Okay, George, what you are doing? Okay, you should be there at the club. Okay, as you told, a special snooker match tonight, you should be there. And Doris, please don't cry again. If you want to cry, you please go upstairs and cry. Now see, now this is too much for Mrs. Pearson to see the sufferings of her family members. All of a sudden she stood up and see what she is saying. That's enough, quite enough. George and Doris stared at her bewildered. They are totally surprised, because previously also it seems that she showed a lot of anxiety towards them, and also it seems to George that she already had a soft corner for them. Now all of a sudden when Mrs. Pearson, we know it is Mrs. Fitzgerald, and Mrs. Fitzgerald, we know it is Mrs. Pearson, but the other three characters, that means George, Doris and Cyril, they don't know about it at all. Now when Mrs. Fitzgerald stood up, okay, from the cushion and told that that's enough, quite enough, okay, George and Doris, they both stare at her and they are totally bewildered. They haven't expected anything like this will happen, or rather to say, they haven't expected that anything like this will turn up. Okay, so I stop here in this page 49. In my next class after the Diwali break, I will be dealing with page number 50. That means one class is more required more to complete this drama. related with Mother's Day. Is there any doubt at the back of your mind? I hope whatever been told is very much clear to all of you. Is there any doubt at the back of your mind? You can ask me. Is there any doubt, or is it okay with all?
We will do a project for the PPT.
That one we will be discussing later, okay, not in this regular class, okay. That has already been given, information has been given. Dear students, kindly go through the information, and yes, you have to make it a soft copy. Whether you will be making it in a PDF or PPT, we will be referring to it later to you. Don't have to worry about it, because it is related with term 2, not with term 1. Now everyone should concentrate on your term 1 syllabus that has already been done, and Mother's Day is a very important topic. The project is also related to that. So first of all, you all go through it, okay, and after that, if there is any doubt, let me know about it. You can text me in my WhatsApp number, or you can call me up also, okay. So thank you everyone, thank you for your cooperation and for a patient hearing. See you again, and take care everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you everyone. Thank you.